Manny Pacquiao destroys Keith Thurman. Where does that leave us? Please like and subscribe. Share in all forms of social media. Help us hit 10,000 subscribers. Leave us a comment. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to another edition of Sunday Morning Champions. Some final thoughts on the Pacquiao versus Thurman scrap, and it was a good one. A pay-per-view that finally lived up to the hype. It was worth every penny, I guess. I mean, not that any of these fights are worth $75, but Manny Pacquiao beat down WBA Super Champ Keith one-time Thurman to unify the WBA regular and worlds or super belts or whatever they want to call them now. Pacquiao took a clear, somehow split decision. It was a great fight, great action fight. You saw Manny drop Keithy Poo in the first round and jump out to a giant lead, winning the first 5 rounds on many, if not most, scorecards. I was talking about, expert scorecard opponent, ringside scorecards. On many scorecards, he was up 6 points after 5 rounds, giving him the 2-point round for the knockdown in the first. We thought if Thurman was behind going into the middle of the fight, and we thought he would be, he would more or less quit and run out the clock into retirement and would get on his bicycle and take a lopsided decision loss, take his $10 million or whatever he's making for the fight and return to China, retire to China and play the flute full time. In reality, he did the opposite of that. We were right in saying that he'd be down on the scorecards going into the second half of the fight, a middle fight, second half of the fight. But he did the opposite. He bit down and fought back and gave him hell. Down possibly 6 points after 5 rounds, and needing to come all the way back. Keith accounted well for himself in the second half of that fight. He was walking down Pacquiao, landing right hands and hooks, tiring Pacquiao, making him look old, and making the fight closer and closer on the scorecards. And it looked like he might totally shift the tides. And Pac caught him with that body shot in the 10th that froze him. He pulled on some more power shots in Pacquiao fashion, a whirlwind of punches. And again, after that, Thurman was badly hurt then again. It was the third time in the fight he was badly hurt. Thurman bit down and fought back. He was badly hurt at the end of the 10th and into the 11th. And again, he fought hard. It wasn't enough to get the win. He really, in reality, probably didn't win either of the last 2 rounds, neither the 11th or the 12th, in reality. But he fought hard and he earned our respect. We've been hypercritical of Keith Thurman, calling him all types of run time, once upon a time, no time soon, split decision time, all types of that stuff. We've done all the research and called out his highly questionable injuries, and of course, by highly questionable, of course, I mean fake injuries. He won us over in his loss. He could have quit. He could have said, the heck with this. I'm in the ring with a legend, an all-time great. He's better than me. I'm just going to run out the clock, go into survival mode, a la Josh Clottey, and just lose a decision. But he didn't. And for that, destroying this taste we had for Keithy Poo, we take it back. He won us over. He won our respect. He won our respect and admiration in the loss. So what's next for each man? Logical question. Well, Pacquiao is going to get himself another mega fight. This is like the Energizer Bunny. He keeps going and going and going. Likely, what we would like to see, which seems likely, is he gets the winner of Porter Spence. Then the winner of that fight, let's call it Spence, versus Pacquiao. That winner gets Bud in the second half of 2020. So think about it. Pacquiao beat Thurman in one quarterfinal. Porter beat Spence in the other. Spence fights Porter in the other quarterfinal. Then in the semifinals, Pac fights the winner of Porter Spence. Let's call it Spence. And then the winner of Pac Spence fights Crawford in the finals in the second half of 2020. Sounds like a plan? You guys like it? I love it. Let's see if that happens. It all makes sense on paper, and I think in reality we're getting closer and closer to seeing that clarity in the welterweight division. That's not going to happen. There's still other fights, but I think it's reality. I think early 2020 we get Pac versus Porter Spence winner. And in the second half of that, we get the winner of that fight versus Crawford. And I think we get complete clarity in the welterweight division. Now, if it doesn't happen, there are other options. If he doesn't get the WBC, if Pacquiao doesn't get the unified WBC IBF champ, whether that be Porter or Spence, I'm calling it Spence, perhaps he fights Mikey Garcia. That seems realistic. They've mentioned his name before. It's a good fight. I think it sells well. A possible rematch with Keith Thurman would certainly have some interest. It was a great fight in the first one. That was really entertaining. I'd like to see it again. I think it makes sense. Danny and Mikey Garcia are both ranked in the top 3 by the WBA. Could one of them be next? So, I mean, I would think those are the options, right? I would think Mikey, Danny, and a rematch with Keith are the possibilities if he doesn't fight the winner of Porter Spence. I do think he'll fight the winner of Porter Spence. If he doesn't, I think those would be the 3 next common sense options. And of course, there's the obvious Floyd Mayweather thing, and I want to address that. He's not fighting Floyd Mayweather again. Floyd Mayweather's not fighting anybody. Let's ditch that idea. I spoke to Uncle Jeff Mayweather, at a card in Dallas, Michael Montoya card in Dallas at the State Fair, Texas State Fair. And he said, yeah, he hasn't seen Floyd in the gym at all, really. Let's face facts. Floyd Mayweather, all-time great fighter, best fighter of his era. His era is over. He's retired. Let him enjoy his retirement, please. Really. He's retired. Can we stop with this? He's retired. And look, unless we're talking about him fighting wrestlers or whatever he's doing, let him retire. He's done. Let him enjoy his family. Let him enjoy the fruits of his labor. He's done with the sport of boxing. And he's done great things in boxing. So good for him. Now let's get to Keith Thurman. What are his options if he can't secure a Pacquiao rematch? A rematch with Danny would be interesting. Probably a bit unlikely, as Danny's probably going to want a title shot. And I don't know that fight makes sense for either one of those guys right now. Both having recent losses. Danny lost to Porter earlier in the year, and Keith just got demolished by Pac. So perhaps a Keith Thurman takes a tune-up. 2 names that would make a lot of sense: Adrian Broner or Andre Berto. His name is constantly being linked to Adrian Broner. Broner sells. It's a draw. It would do well. Keith should beat him. Not too difficult. The other name is Andre Berto. It would be an all-Florida scrap. Berto fights coming up on the Wilder, on the Wilder card, on the heavyweight card at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn. Assuming he wins that, I think a Keith Thurman fight makes a lot of sense. He could put it in Florida. It would draw well there. Berto's still a name. If Thurman's going to take a tune-up, let him take Berto. A get-right fight. Let him get right and see how it goes. Take that fight and sharpen up and go into the second half, the latter part of your career, coming off of one of a Berto or Broner. But those fights, they'll test you. Those aren't easy guys, but those are guys you should definitely beat. Let's see how it goes. There's also this. Could he go up to 154? I want to talk about this because I think this is a real option. Look, the guys at junior middle are big. But Keith looked totally drained at the weigh-in on Friday. He didn't seem to have the bounce in his step. He didn't use his legs as much as he normally does. Perhaps that was by design, right? Perhaps he just wanted to walk down Manny Pacquiao. Or perhaps it was out of necessity. His legs weren't the same. He didn't have the bounce in his step because he was drained. I don't know. He also got noticeably hurt 3 times in a fight. So, those are 2 telltale signs that a fighter is cutting too much weight. His legs aren't the same, and he's getting hurt by shots that don't seem to be that impactful. Check and check. Both those things happen to Keith Thurman in the Pacquiao fight. Perhaps Keith Thurman, who fought in the amateurs at 152 pounds and lost to Bubu Andrade, who's a middleweight champion now in the Olympic trials, at 152 pounds as a teenager. Right? Keith Thurman fought at 152 as a teenager. Perhaps he can't make 147 anymore. You know, look, that's a real possibility. And outside of Jarrett Hurd, who would be too big for Keith, I think, but he's likely moving to 160 in the near future. I think Keith would have a real good shot against anyone at 154. I think he beats Harrison. I think he beats J-Rock. And I think Jamel is a real good fight. A real good fight. He could make a run at 154. And if he feels drained and weakened trying to make 47, go to 54. I think he can make a run there. I'd like to see it. I'd like to see him make a run there. Look, it's going to be tough because the difference in size now between the 47 and 54 pounders are huge. These 54 pounders are middleweight to cut down to 54. You know, 54 used to be a division where you see guys like Trinidad and De La Hoya and Mosley and yada, yada, yada. Go up to that division and Cotto because they didn't feel like cutting all that weight. They could still make 47, they just didn't want to anymore, right? So it was basically the senior citizen tour. I don't want to call it that, but the senior citizen tour of the welterweight division. I don't want to make that weight anymore. I'll just go up to 54. It's not that anymore. It's middleweights who are young and can cut all the extra weight. I mean, Munguia and Hurd and Jamal Charlo. And look how Jamal Charlo is a huge middleweight who fought at 54 not that long ago. I mean, these guys are huge. You look at guys like Carlos Adames. These are big boys, right? And so those are big guys at 54. But Keith's big enough, he's strong enough, he's experienced enough. I think he can make a run there. There's also the possibility that Keefe retires like we predicted. We predicted he would lose to Keith. Keefe would lose to Pac. He would take his $10 million or so, whatever he's making for the fight, and move to China. And play the flute in China full time. That's a real possibility. We may never see him again. He made his money. He's an intelligent guy, smart guy, has other things. He's married, has his own interests in smoking weed and playing the flute and whatever he likes to do. Maybe he'll just do that. You know, it's a possibility that we don't see Keith Thurman again in the ring, period. Or we see him at 154, or we see him at 47. Let me know what y'all think. Let me know what you think Keith Thurman will do next. Let us know. Let me know what you think Manny Pacquiao will do next. Leave your thoughts, comments below. Please remember to like and subscribe. Help us hit 10,000 subscribers. For another episode of Sunday Morning Champion, from Texas to the world, this is 3D Boxing saying thank you and God bless.
Enjoy 3D Boxing vlog videos? Show us some love by clicking the like button. Don't miss a tweet, post, story, or video. 3dboxingvlog.com is also on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Hit the subscribe button now to stay inside the ring.